when it comes down to eating, there are three main things that you can't avoid: sugar, salt, and fat. But that's okay, because our body needs those. But when it comes to fat, we only need a certain amount and we only need a certain type. I remember when the low-fat, no-fat craze became huge, but like with most fad diets, it quickly had a backlash. And what we realized was that low-fat and no-fat foods contain a ton of added sugar and salt to give them flavor. You need to focus on healthy fats. Healthy fats are good for you. They help control inflammation, control blood clotting. They keep your cells and your brain healthy so that your cells can fire messages to your brain that allow you to speak and think and see and hear and all the things that are critical to your everyday movement. They also give you glowing hair and skin. So fats are good, but it comes down to the three types of fats, two of which we should eat, one of which we should avoid. So what are those? First off, there's saturated fats. Saturated fats generally come from animal proteins. They come from things like beef and chicken, and a few fruits and vegetables like avocados. They're high in saturated fats. At one point, saturated fats were thought to be bad for us because they may raise the bad cholesterol level in our body. But the new research shows that there's not enough of a correlation there and that they do nothing to increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. So new research shows that saturated fats are okay. You just want to make sure, because they primarily come from animal sources, that you're getting them from a good source. There are a couple oils that are saturated fats. Those are coconut oil and avocado oil. They're the oils that are generally solid at room temperature. Those are saturated fats. Unsaturated fats are also healthy for you. In fact, unsaturated fats do a lot for your body to lower your cholesterol levels and keep your body healthy, your brain functioning, and your blood at a good level also. Your unsaturated fats are found in a lot of different plant protein sources. You remember hearing about omega-3 fatty acids. We hear about it all the time. That's because that is a component of unsaturated fats that is really particularly good for your brain. Your omega-3 fatty acids are things like your flaxseed, walnuts are a particularly good source of omega-3 fatty acids. Your other unsaturated fats are things like olive oil. Get that from a good source, and that is really, really good for you. Now the other kind, trans fats. First and foremost, the thing you need to know is that trans fats are the only fat you need to avoid at all costs. What are trans fats? Trans fats happen when you add hydrogen to vegetable oil. It's called partially hydrogenated vegetable oil or hydrogenated vegetable oil. They're used a lot of times in baked goods because they're solid at room temperature, like shortening or icing. They're used in baked goods because it also increases the shelf life of something like a store-bought apple pie. That definitely looks like it has trans fats in it, doesn't it? They're also used a lot of times in fried foods because, quite frankly, they last longer and people don't have to change the oil in the fryer as often. So you want to stay away from chips and French fries that may have been fried in hydrogenated vegetable oils. The really good news about trans fats, if there is any good news there, is that because they're used in so many packaged foods, they're really easy to spot. All you have to do is take a minute, pick up the package, and read a little bit about it. This microwave popcorn, for example, contains 5 grams of trans fats. In fact, some of these crackers here contain what says 0 grams of trans fats. Because it's less than 0.5 grams of trans fats, it doesn't have to be labeled. But new legislation requires the labeling of trans fats. So even if it says 0 trans fats, you still want to read the ingredients list. And if you see hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated vegetable oil, put it right back on the shelf. So how do you avoid trans fats and how do you get more healthy fats in your diet? It's really quite simple. Avoid those store-bought baked goods products that could have been made with hydrogenated vegetable oil. Instead, choose those that were made with real ingredients, things like butter instead of shortening. Snacking on things like nuts and seeds and avocados instead of potato chips. So make sure you're getting your fats from good, healthy, whole food sources, and you'll be in great shape. As always, there's a whole selection of these great oils, nuts, seeds, other snack foods available on Thrive Market for 25 to 50% off of retail pricing. And that is a good place to start.